11:30 podcast. Hey, where you was when a nigga was
where they was at,
up?
man?
I was on my ass.
You tell me.
I was stuck in a tree, ain't nobody help me out.
Nobody help shit.
Ain't nobody help me down.
Let's get it.
Going places that you never seen. You think I'm fucked up, boy, I'm living my dream. Just leave me alone if you're not with the team. My brain too smart to come up with a scheme. If I said it, then I meant it, and I know what I mean. Had me a vision, it was fucking with my dreams, and it told me.
Yo, what it do, everybody? This your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Welcome back, you guys, to a new episode of the 11:30 podcast. What's goody? How everybody doing out there? Appreciate you guys joining me back here for another episode, another week. You dig, man? Good morning, good night, good afternoon to all my subscribers all across the world. Appreciate you guys joining me back here for another episode. You dig, man? It's gonna be a good show, man. Happy New Year's. Hope everybody, doing good, man, for real. Some shit went on this past week in DC, man. I'm gonna get into that in just a little bit, man. But before you do, if you're new to the channel, man, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. And also, man, don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, man, this show is gonna be a dope one, man. Lined up, my guest, you guys, coming to us, man, from Australia. Yes, Australia, you guys. She's originally from LA, but she's coming to us from Australia, you guys. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a really good one. Her name is Christine Blosdale, you guys. She's the host of Out of the Box podcast, you guys. That's a really good podcast. Go check it out on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts is at. For real, man. She's going to be joining me here in just a bit. She's internationally #1 Amazon selling author, you guys. Radio and podcast expert and multi-million-dollar fundraiser, you guys. So, like I said, that's going to be a very, very fun thing to get all into it. Just to, chat with her and get to know her, you guys, man. So she's coming up in just a bit, you guys, on the podcast. But you guys, man, for real. We're going to start it off with the WTF moment of the week, you guys, man. For real. Yes. Yo, man, I went to go take a shower, came back in. It was like it was day and night, man. For real. I think Dr. Oz was on TV or something like that. I might have just turned the TV on. And then all of a sudden, boom, everybody is down at the Capitol, and it's just going crazy, man. And I'm not even going to waste a lot of time on this, for real. And yeah, I seen a lot of people commented on it, and just like, man, look at them talking, about DC, like, look at this, man. And of course, people are probably expecting me to say something because I'm from DC. I'm gonna say this though. Us, us as a Black community, from speaking from, my point of view, bruh, we don't care about them monuments. We don't care about the Capitol bill. We don't care about that. Just like my man DC Young Fly said it, just plain of it. We don't want to go in, bruh. We just want we just want to be heard. And even if we wanted to go in, back last year in the summer, wasn't all the police and everybody just guarded up, just protected, had their gear on and everything like that. And now this past Wednesday, you feel me? Nowhere in sight though. These fools just breaking in and just doing all kind of big wild shit though. Like I said, we don't want to go in the building, bruh. We never wanted to go in the building. You feel me? Like, people come to DC for tourists and they love it, man. Oh, the monument, oh, it's the Capitol. Bruh, we don't care about that, for real. But it is sad to see how, they were treated. If it was Black people, man, it would just been a totally different story, bruh. But the fact that, all these white people came to DC, and Trump, we ain't even gonna get into that, man. But him saying what he's saying, and all these people, just disintegrated right here, and just, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. We gotta do better than this, man. We are all human. We should all be united and not be divided, man. I'm glad they blocked that fool from daggone Twitter. I'm pretty sure he probably trying to find his MySpace account right now, trying to figure that password out, Black Planet or something. He trying to figure something out, for real. Like, it's crazy, man, for real. But everybody out there, man, stay safe, man. There's already still a pandemic going on and crazy stuff going on in the world. So you guys, man, you gotta stay safe, for real. You gotta stay safe. It's 2021, or is it? For real, you guys. Another WTF moment, man. Over the past weekend, you guys, someone was around. I don't want to say their names. They might not want to be involved in this. But they just said, man, crazy thing is, you guys, man, they Googled how many more days is it until 2021? And the Jones said 6 hours, 7 hours, and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, I'm like, man, this is some spooky stuff. Are we in 2021, or are we in a time period between 2020 and 2021? Like, it didn't just hit yet. Like, it's crazy, but let's come back to Earth or something, like some real time, so we can get back to normal. For real, like it's crazy, just crazy stuff going on right now. But everybody out there, man, stay safe, wash your hands, do all that good stuff, and stay prayed up, man, for real. But you guys, man, like I was saying, you guys, my guest coming up right now, man. Yes, coming up right now. Her name is Christine Blosdale, you guys. She's the host of Out of the Box podcast, you guys, man. Yes, #1 international Amazon best-selling author, you guys. Radio, podcast expert, multi-million-dollar fundraiser, you guys. She's about to be joining me, chop it up, and just learn from her. We're gonna talk some good stuff. Christine Blosdale, how you doing?
Thank you so much. As they say here, good day. Good day.
Good day.
Yes,
Hey.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be on your show.
No problem. I'm honored for you to join me this week. How's your day going so far?
Well, it's early here. It's afternoon for you there. And by the way, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
So everything's okay. The planet is still here. I know it seems crazy with stuff going on. I'm just like, I'm over here in Australia seeing what's going on in America going, oh man.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's real cool. I'm so glad you're joining me here on the podcast this week. Like I was saying, you're originally from Los Angeles, How did you get all the way to Australia?
A woman.
I guess that would take you there.
Yes. Actually, she's my wife now, but Tracy, my wife, found me on Instagram. I came up in her feed, and she started following me, and she was my soulmate. I've never been married before, and I was 50 plus years old, and I just met that person, my human. And so we started working on getting here. We got married, started working on getting here. And then in the middle of March, she said, I think you should come over here, fast because of this whole COVID thing. And I checked, my flight had been canceled, and I did everything I could to get a flight, and I got the last flight out of Los Angeles. So I've been here for about 9 months, and just seeing everything that's going on in in our beautiful country that we are. I miss my friends. I miss Americans, so much, but we're living life here, and I'm working with clients all around the world and doing the podcast and being on podcast shows like yourself.
That's amazing. That's really, really amazing. How is it in Australia?
It's white. and they don't have Mexican food.
Okay.
No, but with COVID and everything, they were clever. Really, Australia is a big island, and so when it happened, they just shut the borders. They just shut everything down, and they were really strict on some, going out and all that stuff. But now there's just so few cases, so it's pretty free here. Like, you can go outside, you don't have to have a mask. It's not mandatory, but everybody's being real safe. I'm just, every day I hear from my friends. I've got lots of friends in New York. I've worked in New York, and Los Angeles, of course, is my hometown. And I'm just sending out prayers every day for people, and just hoping that they're okay. So many people have been impacted by this, so we got to raise our spirits too, as well. And that's what I'm doing with my podcast show. It's a podcast show for conscious people, and that means just thinking outside of the box when it comes to relationships, health, wellness, business, and that's why I love doing what I do and helping people get their own podcast up. I'm so, like I was saying right before we got on air, I'm so proud of you. I see how you're killing it. You're just doing content. You're doing great content. And that's the whole thing, is speaking your truth and your expertise and your wisdom and your passion, sharing that out into the world is the best thing we can do right now. So congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. You work and you interview celebrities. You've been doing it for almost over 20 years. How did you get to being a radio and podcast expert?
Mm. Well, I used to. Do you remember this thing called America Online,
Yeah.
AOL? That
Yeah.
was the only game in town a long time ago. And I started off just writing reviews for a small magazine in Los Angeles. It was music reviews, and then I started doing movie reviews. And somehow AOL found me. And this is when they used to have content by real people, not a corporation.
Mhm.
And so on the entertainment channel, I did a column called The Daily Fix, and I was writing through a cartoon character. So it wasn't Christine, it was Beatbox Betty. And everybody always asked me if I could beatbox, and I said, no, I can't. But Beatbox Betty was this vampy character, this cartoon character who could really tell you the truth and do it in a saucy, kind of sexy way. So I wrote through her, and I had a really popular column there called The Daily Fix. And with AOL being a credential, the publicists of feature films, when they're doing press junkets and premieres, they're like, come, please come and interview these people. So I was doing celebrity interviews. I've done, everybody, Drew Barrymore, Angelina Jolie, all these directors, and Jackie Chan and everybody. So I was doing all that, and 9/11 hit. And when September 11th happened, it changed for me. I just was like, who cares what Britney Spears is wearing, right? Who cares who's dating who in Hollywood? Who gives a crap? I was like, as everybody was really shocked, and I wanted to know what's going on in the world and what's going on in the Middle East. I was never taught anything. I didn't know. I didn't know that anybody didn't like us, but I also didn't know what we were doing over there. So I had I was in Los Angeles one day, just kind of radio, what they call it, station surfing, and I came across this radio station, and it was so unusual. It was real people talking about real things and what's going on, and and not from a corporate commercial radio point of view. And so it's called KPFK in Los Angeles. There's another station in New York, WBAI, and there's one in DC called WPFW. That's under the Pacifica radio license. And it's all community-sponsored radio. So it's fresh. The music is always great because these are DJs that are not told you have to play this music. It's like their passion, whatever it is, if it's funk, if it's soul, if it's jazz. And so I walked into the station in Los Angeles, and I just said, you guys are amazing. Can I just thank you? And that gratitude, DeAndre, that gratitude, when you have gratitude and you're grateful for people, for things in life, it really opens doors. And so I just walked around and said, I'm just grateful for you. Thank you so much for what you do. And somebody asked me, hey, what do you do? I was like, well, I'm an entertainment writer for AOL. I do celebrity interviews. And they were like, well, if you're ever thinking about it, you should volunteer. So I started volunteering. Next thing happened, boom, boom, boom. I had a small part-time job, crappy hours, and I just worked my way up, and I've been there for 18 years. And I just happen to have the skill of raising money. I offer thank you gifts, like a PBS model, and I do that with things that are good for people. So health products and services, webinars, all of that. But it's been a beautiful ride, and I think it's really important. But that whole nonprofit community-sponsored radio station idea is really what podcasting is now. People are their own radio station, right? They're their own television station. Look at this on YouTube. We can reach people all over the world, and it's for the first time in human history, really, that we could put something up and not know who's watching it, really, but we could reach someone in Singapore, someone in Germany. It's just amazing. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm still working for the network here in Australia. Luckily, digitally, we can send files. We can do audio files. So I've been doing that and coaching people right now too. Yeah.
Okay. That's really, really awesome. It's a pleasure. I'm grateful to meet you because we met in the Facebook groups, and a lot of people have great podcasters, and it's just all about exposure and meeting the right people and turning to the right people and just networking. And your podcast is very informative because I was listening to it, and it was one episode where you were saying like, if you have a podcast, it's also good to have a video side of it also, because it gets more views out there, especially if you want to put it on YouTube. When I started out, a lot of people that I was networking with, or that I was, I guess, around in these groups, were just having audio podcasts, and I was like the only guy on the block who had a YouTube podcast. So I guess that kind of like gained attraction for me in a way. But your podcast is dope. I really love it. I gotta ask you for some advice, because you're the person to turn to.
Sure, go for it. Yeah.
What's a couple of ways to sustain a successful podcast?
Number one, I believe, is authenticity and integrity, because people can feel it. I've been doing, like I said, almost 20 years in radio. And what I've learned is that people will feel your intention. They can know when you're bullshitting, I don't know if I can say that, but they know when they can feel you, right? Because they can't, with radio, they can't see you.
Exactly.
So they can't judge you. They can't say, well, why does she have this color hair? Why are they wearing that? Right? They're older, so I'm not. All they can do is listen to you. And as you know, with audio, radio, and podcasting, it's a very intimate medium, because you're using your imagination a bit, but all you're doing is you're just going off of what you're hearing. So number one is the authenticity and integrity. I think is the most important, because if you're just doing a podcast show just to promote yourself, right? That's one of my pet peeves. Is like, I'll listen to a podcast show to learn something, to be, educated or inspired. So either entertain me, inspire me, motivate me, educate me. But if it's just a show where people are just kind of, shooting the breeze or talking about what they like, then it's a great platform for them, but I'm not so interested in that, because I want to learn something. I want to be moved. And so that's why those podcast shows that are all about marketing and business, that's why they're doing so really well. And the true crime podcasts are doing well because it's entertainment for people. But that's the number one thing. And then the second thing would be consistency. And consistency can be hard, because sometimes, you think you're speaking to nobody, you're putting it out, you're creating the content, you're putting it out, and you may not get a lot of feedback. But what I always tell all my coaching clients, all my podcast clients, is you never know who's listening to you. You never know who's watching you on YouTube, because a perfect example is when I was writing through for AOL, I got no feedback. I just got feedback from my editor, but I didn't get any feedback from, people. And so years after I had done the AOL, the Daily Fix as Beatbox Betty, I ran into Lily Tomlin and her partner, Jane Wagner. Now, Lily Tomlin is like somebody that I've admired for so long, since I was really young. And of course, now she's just huge with Grace and Frankie and Grace, that show. And so I went up to her and I just introduced myself, and I said, my name's Christine, but I'm also known as Beatbox Betty. And she turned to Jane Wagner, her writing, her partner, but also who Jane writes a lot of her stuff. She turned to her and she said, Jane, it's Beatbox Betty. And she looked at me and she said, you are so funny. And I was like, hey, wait, I was like, thought I was getting punked. I was like, how do you know about Beatbox Betty? Well, Lily Tomlin was reading she was checking out the column. And so what I'm saying is that you never know who's watching you, who's listening to you. And if you have a favorite person, if you have someone you admire, if it's a sports star or, an author or a speaker or an actor, or somebody that you really admire, what I always just tell my clients is, imagine that they're listening to you, that they just stumbled across you. Mm-hmm. And boy, that changes it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they're like dressing a little bit better,
Yeah. Uh-huh. I feel you. That's exciting. That really is. Because if I knew, like, my favorite guy is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Big
Oh yeah.
wrestling fan. So if I knew he was listening to me, and oh man, come on, that'd be really really exciting. What inspires you?
What inspires me? Mm. You know what? There's this driving force, I think, within me that wants to help people in a way, not so much like showing pity on folks and saying, oh, you need help and this and that, but I'm an intuitive. So being an intuitive, I can feel. It's like being empathic. You can really feel what's going on, so you can feel people on a deeper level than what they're sharing. And so ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted to help people and inspire them and to get them to do better. And so that really has been my overwhelming driving force. The other thing is that my grandmother raised me, and so my grandmother instilled into me some amazing things about, you know, getting back up and letting things go. Like don't hold on to pain, don't hold on to grudges or anything like that. Do your best and just keep going and get back up again. And so she inspires. Even though she's been she's transitioned. So as we say, she's transitioned many, many years ago, but she's with me all the time. And so she's really my inspiration. When I teach, when I do speaking events, I actually have a slideshow and I have pictures of my grandmother and me. And people have said that when I talk about her, weird things happen. So like the lights will, flicker and all of that. And so I know that she's definitely with me. She's been a big inspiration for me.
That's cool. That's cool. That's really really cool. I'm speaking of events. Growing up, I was shy. I was a shy person. Talking in front of a large crowd or getting up in front of a class. I just be very very shy. It was a couple of times that I went to school and realized that it wasn't for me. But the times that I did go, I nailed the stand up. I want to say essay report I had to do, and you had to present it in front of a class, and just get up there and speak. So, and I nailed it, class, and got an A both times, and I was shocked, because I'm always the guy who is very 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 nervous. And the last time I went last because, of course, like I said, I was nervous, but the guy who went before me, he was nervous as well, but he made it actually better for me because I was just like, okay, I'm gonna use that right there and just feed off of that and just hey, and I did it and I killed it. But I want to say, what's some advice to you that those who may struggle with speaking in front of people or public speaking?
Oh, this has been. I have a client right now who's extremely talented, but she's shy and she she's like, who wants to hear from me, right? This
Mm-hmm.
is the thing. We as human beings do this a lot. We will praise our children, we will praise our mates, our soulmates, our spouses, but when it comes to ourselves, we go, who are we? We're just this little, nothing. And sometimes just based on stuff that's happened to us in life, parents saying things to us when we're little, society, depends on where we grow up, that can have a big impact on our confidence. And so what I do with my clients that are extremely shy or nervous is I do a couple of different things. Number one, I have them so that they can learn to like their voice. A lot of people who are really shy, they hate their voice. And if you're going to do a podcast show or a YouTube channel, you need to at least appreciate your voice. Let's say you don't have to love it, but you have to appreciate it because it's yours. It's like a snowflake, right? It's unique. It's completely yours. So I have my clients, when they're going in and taking a shower or taking a bath, to actually put on you can take your phone and you have on YouTube, you got karaoke versions of songs. And I say, take a song that you can sing, off key or not, it doesn't matter, but that you love, a song that you really love singing to. It could be anything. For me, it was the Carpenters, because I'm a child of the 70s. And so it was the Carpenters. So I say, go in the bathroom when you're taking a shower or taking a bath, put the karaoke version of a song that you really like that's popular. Can be anything. And just sing along with it. You're not recording it. Nobody's hearing it, but just sing along with it. The reason is because you're in a comfortable state of mind. The acoustics are great in the bathroom. Okay.
Sure
You don't
are.
even have to sing loud, right? You can just, the acoustics are really good. And it's when you're, with water, there's a lot of magical qualities, a lot of amazing qualities that happen with water. And so I'll have my clients do that just to kind of break the ice on their voice. And then they'll give me they'll tell me how it felt. I felt silly, or you know what, it was really liberating and I felt really good about it. And hey, you know what, I'm not a bad singer, I'm pretty good. So I'll have them do that. And then as we go and I'm coaching them to get a little bit more comfortable, I will have them do a faux practice podcast show. And we'll record it, we'll do it through Zoom, and say, it's not going to be published anywhere. No one's going to see it or hear it. It's just for you to get comfortable, because it's like riding a bike. When the first time you got on a bike, it wasn't easy. You might have fallen a couple times. But the idea is just to practice hearing your voice. And for those that I'm working with in creating a YouTube channel, it's getting comfortable and seeing their face. That's another critical thing, getting past our image of ourselves. A lot of people are so hard on themselves. So I was also say, I saw on Zoom, there's new updates on Zoom where you can improve your appearance. I said, get rid of those wrinkles.
Yeah, you sure can. You can really do that. Speaking of podcasts, I really dig your podcast. Out of the Box podcast with Christine. What made you start a podcast?
Because I had been doing so many interviews on radio. It was so funny because one day I was sitting there at the radio station and I had just done an interview. I think it was with Ralph Nader. I had done a really killer interview, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just realized that I had years and years and years of interviews with amazing people, but the only people that really got to hear them were people in Southern California and in a tiny area of Southern California, right? But also it was like a one-off, like it aired and that was it. And I was like, it just dawned on me. There was a light bulb moment and I went, oh my gosh, there's this thing called podcasting, and I could do my interviews and they can be created and they can be up for, however long. I didn't even know. I didn't even know how long they'd be up. So that was part of it. And the other part of it was when I was doing shows for the radio station, it was I needed to do the shows to help raise money. And I was also, I had a, not barrier, but I could only do certain things. With my own show, I could talk about anything. I could talk about anything I wanted to. So I could talk conspiracy theories if I wanted to. I could talk about health. I could go really deep into talking to experts on trauma. I could just do anything I wanted. And the freedom for that, I was like, yeah. So I kept that separate. I had the radio station and I'm doing those shows, but the podcast was really just my own personal freedom machine so that I could be as creative as I wanted to. And my most popular show, and it still is today, is still getting views on YouTube. It was this is very telling, because when I first started, I didn't know really what I was doing. I had a horrible sound. My very first show, I was in my mom's house in a room with horrible sound. The guest that I had on didn't want to be on video at all, just wanted audio. and I knew I wanted to put it on YouTube. So I did the show, like, again, horrible sound. I even sounded horrible. But I made a video out of it with just like a slideshow, right? Added that to the audio, put it on YouTube. It is close to 300,000 views. And again, it's not good quality, but it's the content. it's the content. It's my interview with a master narcissist. And that show, I've done 3 in a series, but that first show is the most popular of my shows, and it's still getting hits, it's still getting comments, because unfortunately, I guess there's a lot of narcissists in the world, and a lot of people are victims of narcissists, and they're, if you've never encountered a narcissist, congratulations, you're lucky. But there's a lot of people that are hurting, that have married narcissists, or their parents are narcissists, or so that show got a lot. And again, that tells you it's not even so much about the glitz and the special effects. It's about the content. That's the most important thing. The content. What are you talking about? What are you helping in some way? Are you inspiring? Are you motivating? Are you educating? Those are the top things.
That's cool. Yeah. You're right about that. You're so right about that. Love it. Love chatting with you. I'm so glad you're here and joining me this week on the 1130 podcast, Christine. But you guys sit tight. We're going to take a quick short break. And when we come back on the other side, we're going to play a game and we're going to chat some more here on the 1130 podcast, you guys.
Awesome.
Have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Yo, you guys, welcome back here to the 1130 podcast. Appreciate you guys sticking with me throughout the commercial break, you guys. My guest this week, Christine Blosdale. She's the host of Out of the Box podcast, you guys. She's joining me this week. We're having fun. We're chopping it up. We was talking about some great things before the commercial break. Before we play a game and hop into that, you said one thing on your podcast, and I wanted to elaborate on to because it's very, very true. Whatever you put out in the universe is what you get back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, completely. It's pretty amazing when, like I said, we were talking about how you never know who's listening to you. You never know who's watching you on YouTube. The universe is quite an amazing thing, and it's all based on energy. And when you meet some people, sometimes you go, oh, I don't know why I don't like that person. I don't know why I get an icky feeling. It's because it's energy. It's all it is. And so when you're delivering a podcast or doing a show on YouTube, it's all about your energy and your intention. And like I said, people can feel it. So that's the message that we try and put out on the show as well, is to put out good things into the universe. Do good things for yourself, but also do good things for the world. It comes back to you tenfold, always.
Yeah, you're right about that. You got to put out that good energy, because if you don't, you're not going to get it back. You're really, really not going to get it back. 2021, you know, is it going good for you so far?
So far, yeah, actually, I've been really busy, extremely busy. I think much of it has been from, continuation of last year, but I've been doing podcast coaching, some training, doing a micro podcast on podcasting, which we can get into that a little bit because people go, what's a micro podcast? I understand what a podcast is, but a micro podcast is like, it's 5 minutes or less. And the beauty about those are that a lot of people have 5 minutes or less. Our attention span as a society is just shrunk. And so the micro podcasts on podcasting are just little snippets, little tips and advice for people that are considering creating a podcast show, and little things that I've learned along the way. And I always say, as a podcast coach and trainer, there are other people that have podcast shows that are, lots and lots of viewers. There's other people that have different ways. It's just my style of teaching. And I think if people gravitate towards me and my style of teaching and coaching, then I'm a fit for them. But I'm also working, this is my goal for the first quarter of 2021, is to take the book. This is the Amazon, the #1 book in Australia and in America. So I'm going to be taking the book. It's on paperback and Kindle right now, but I'm going to be taking that and creating the audio book, because it makes sense to have a podcast book in an audio book format. Hello. It's just taken me a while to also find the right situation for it, but I'm going to be recording that as well. So Lots of stuff coming up in 2021. Lots.
That's good. That's really, really cool. That's real, real cool. 2021 is going to be an awesome year. Better than 2020. For real. Way better than 2020. Yes.
I hope so for the planet.
Yes.
We're tired.
You're right. We're going to keep the ball rolling here on the 1130 podcast. Christine, you down to play a game?
I'm down for it, yeah.
Okay. We're going to play a game of Would You Rather here on the 1130 podcast. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
All right. Would you rather have the lights on or off if you knew the room was full of snakes?
Oh, shit. On,
yeah.
Full
Me too.
on.
So I can jump over everything so it won't get me.
I don't like snakes.
Okay. Would you rather be able to change the future or the past just by imagining?
The future.
Yeah, the future, yeah.
The future.
The whole lot
the past, some weird things happened, and but it got me to where I am today. So yeah, the future.
Yeah, I'm with you. Would you rather if you were stranded on an island with no food and with a dog and your sibling, would you kill your dog to feed your sibling or let your sibling die of hunger?
Oh. What are my options? Kill the dog to feed the sibling, or let my sibling starve to death?
Yeah.
Oh, we're on an island, right?
Yeah, you're on an island.
Couldn't we go fishing?
I mean, you can go fishing, but you don't have nothing, I guess, to cook the fish, catch it. So the dog is right there.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, you don't know how long, you're going to be on this island without food now, and the dog is just, it's there.
You know what? I'd probably have to do the dog in, because my mom would be upset that I killed my brother.
I might go with the dog. It might not taste all that great, but I guess I go with it. I guess so. Would you rather find out your spouse cheated on you on Jerry Springer show or get a divorce on Judge Judy?
Oh, damn. Oh, I like Judge Judy. I would do the Judge Judy thing because that'd be dramatic. Yeah. Jerry Springer's a little, yeah.
Yeah, Jerry Springer's a little old. I just started getting into actually Judge Judy. She's really good, even though she's, some people would say she's mean. I even say she's mean, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah, but she's no nonsense. No nonsense.
Exactly. Would you rather spend a day cleaning your worst enemy's house or have your crush spend a day cleaning your house?
Would I rather have a crush cleaning my house,
Yes.
or me cleaning my worst enemy's house?
Yes.
Well, I would rather have my crush clean my house because I can have a clean house.
Okay. Or would you rather date someone with their ex name tattooed on their chest, or date someone whose ex lives next door?
Oh no, the next door thing ain't gonna happen. Yeah, no, tattoo's fine. I don't care.
Okay, tattoo is fine. Tattoo is fine. Okay, all right. Would you rather be smacked in the face with a fish or farted on?
Hit me with the fish. I can't stand farts. That's
okay. Okay. Or would you rather have every meal you eat for the rest of your life be a little too spicy or a little too sweet?
I'd say a little too spicy.
Spicy? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go with the spicy. I like spicy food. I like spicy. Would you rather have diarrhea during your wedding ceremony or your wedding night?
Wedding night. She's got you. She's like,
Okay.
remember, during sickness or health.
Yeah, you're right. Would you rather have the best house in a bad neighborhood or the worst house in a fancy neighborhood?
Oh, give me the worst house in a fancy neighborhood. I'll just piss off the neighbors.
Yeah, just piss them off and be like, I'm here. Christine,
it's still going to be worth a lot of money because of everybody else's property values.
Yes, you are right. Christine, I appreciate you playing Would You Rather with me, just having some fun. I appreciate you joining me on the podcast this week. Before you go, any questions you have for me, anything you would like to say, any shout outs?
I don't have any questions. I just want to say I absolutely love your energy. I love your spirit. You just come, you're you and you're unique. And that's what I said. That's why I wanted to be on the show, but I'm so proud of the work that you've done. You're just killing it. And thank you. I'm honored to have been on your show, and just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing it. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I sure will. I will sure keep kicking it, keep kicking down the doors and keep doing it. I appreciate you and everyone who is like you to give me that advice, that energy to keep going. You know, I've been doing this for about a year now, and I love it. And a thing I did for myself, and another thing for podcasters out there who are watching or listening, is when you're doing podcasting and you may feel like, you know, I haven't felt this way, but if you do feel like, okay, maybe I'm not motivated, buy yourself a new mic or buy yourself new headphones. And when you buy that new mic or you buy that new headphones, you just be like, oh man, I can't wait to use it. I can't wait. So I love it. I really, really love it. And once again, Christine Blosdale, I appreciate you for joining me here on the podcast. You have a social media if anybody want to follow you or anything?
Yeah, no, they can. I've got a few websites. They can follow me at christineblosdale.com. They can learn all about the coaching that I do. I also have a podcast. It's podcast and YouTube boot camp. It's every 2 weeks, and it's called bossafbootcamp.com, bossafbootcamp.com. And I'd love to have, DeAndre, you're welcome to come to the next one and be a special guest during the boot camp. It's a small group, and like I said, we meet every 2 weeks, and it's wonderful because these are all inspiring, super talented people that are just starting off creating their podcast. And so if you're interested, I'll send you the information on it, but people can get more information on the boot camp at bossafbootcamp.com.
Okay, you got it, you guys. You heard it right from her. You guys, this has been a dope episode. Christine, thank you for joining me from all the way from Australia. Love. I hope your day is great. Can't wait to travel to Australia, one day. Hopefully be fun.
Well, let me know when you're coming. We'll show you around.
Okay,
it's a beautiful place. Do you like seafood? Do you like fish?
Actually, I like fish, but I'm allergic to seafood, such as like crabs.
Oh, okay. Well, they got lamb here. They got meat. They got lots of meat. If you're meat eater.
That should be good. Christine, I appreciate you joining me on the podcast. Thank you, and have a blessed day and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christine, I appreciate you joining me here on the 1130 podcast this week. It was a dope interview. Great time chatting with you, picking your brain, and just learning from you. You know, a lot of people start podcasts, they don't even know where to go. And like how someone shouted me out and said in the video, some podcasts don't make it past 6 months. You know, I'm blessed, I'm proud to keep doing this and find the motivation, the courage, and the will and the determination to keep doing it. I love it. Like I was saying, you know, I bought this new mic, bought some new headphones, and I'm just like, oh man, I can't wait to the next show. You feel me? I'm just so excited. So it's just the little stuff. It's just the little stuff. And if you keep going on that site or that studio or that app to check out your views or your listeners, and it's just 4 or 5, but only getting 8, you ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it. But if you're doing it for the right reason and putting your all into it, you ain't gonna. It's nothing but up. Nothing but up. But Christine, once again, I appreciate you joining me here on the 1130 podcast. It was an awesome time. I can't wait to go to Australia. I've only been like Maryland, Virginia, of course, and South Carolina. So Australia will be, I guess, one on the list. They say all the crazy animals there can kill you. So I'm gonna stay far away from that. But yo, it was an awesome time. Dope show. Glad you're joining me on the podcast this week. Awesome. But you guys, man, before I go, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow the 1130 podcast on Twitter at Dre on Wheels. Follow me on Instagram at the 1130 podcast. Like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. Subscribe. Yes, hit that subscribe button down below. Like it too. Hit the comment it. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. Subscribe right here on YouTube. And also, you guys, I have a wrestling podcast. We wanted to dive into that, me and Christine, but we're going to get into that more. We got more time. You're welcome anytime. My wrestling podcast, each and every Friday, is the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, where I interview some of your favorite independent referees, ring announcers, you name it, you guys. You name it. Each and every Friday. The podcast is available on Spotify. Follow me on Spotify. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, subscribe. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Try to get the 1130 podcast up and out there even more. And if you would like to be a guest here on the podcast, email me, the1130podcast@gmail.com. That's the1130podcast@gmail.com. Or DM me on Facebook or Instagram. You know how I go, man, for real. This was a dope show, man. Dope show. Second show of the year. We're gonna keep killing it, man. 2021 is the year. But you guys, man, yo, you already know what it is, man. I'll see you guys Friday. Other than that, man, next week here on YouTube. Yo, I appreciate everybody who keeps supporting the podcast. Talk Pro Wrestling, 1.8 thousand downloads. Let's keep trucking at it here on YouTube, man. Let's try to get to 1,000 subscribers, man. We ain't gonna try. We're gonna get there. So we're gonna get there, man. But I appreciate everybody for real that been tuning in and helping me get to where I'm at. And continue. Let's keep it going. Yo, it's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. And I'm out.